Welcome to the Insurance Producers Podcast, where we bring you the top personalized producers, insurance agents, and industry partners, giving you at least 3 takeaways to 10x your production and build your multi-million-dollar revenue books. So sit back, relax, and become inspired by the success stories and strategies of the world's top insurance minds. Let's roll. All right, everybody. Welcome back to the Insurance Producers Podcast, man. You guys got an MVP today, man. I'm super excited. I've got to know this individual in, honestly, probably in the last month or two, and we got to connect last week, and he's going to be speaking at our team event here at the end of the year. But I want to introduce you to Marques Ogden. What's up, brother?
What's going on, Cyrus? How you doing, my friend?
I am doing good, man. I am doing good. I'm excited for this podcast, man. I tell people all the time, like, why'd you start a podcast? I'm like, man, because I bring on people like Marques, and I learn more. I learn more from the podcast, man. This is kind of like my mentorship, if that makes sense. I bring on the right people, man. They talk and they get in my brain, and I do good stuff after that. So,
you know what, man? Having a great podcast like yours, Cyrus, only helps you as a business leader in insurance, which is an industry that's going to be always up, down, very cyclical all around. And the key to being a great insurance leader is innovation and thinking about new strategies, new ways to approach business. And when you interview people like myself and other people who have different perspective, different thought processes, it only makes you better as a leader. So that's what it's all about.
that's awesome. No, I appreciate it. So, man, I want to. A lot of people know who you are, but I want for people that don't know, man, that are basically sitting at their desk for the last 10, 20 years and building an insurance agency. Just go back, maybe give us a minute, 2 minutes, man. Like where you come from, what you're doing right now, and give us the highlight, brother.
So my name is Marques Ogden. I'm from Washington, D.C. I live in a little bitty town called Fuquay, Varina, North Carolina. It's about 30 minutes outside of Raleigh, North Carolina. Really, really love the area. I am a national, international keynote speaker, business coach, corporate consultant. I'm a 5-time best-selling author, 4 times best-selling, 1 international. I am also a podcast host of the Get Authentic with Marques Ogden show. And I'm also, Cyrus, a former NFL athlete.
That is awesome, man. That's a lot to uncover there, but we don't need to go into 2-3 hours of all the stuff that you have done, man. But I know I want to talk to insurance producers and insurance agency owners, man, that are on and say, well, why'd you bring on Marques, right? Because usually we bring on an insurance producer, agency owner, vendor that's doing some amazing things, man. But I heard you speak, and I wanted everybody to hear you speak, man. That was kind of bottom line, right? Like, so the story of adversity and things that you have gone through, and obviously with the industry right now, man, people are running into a lot of hiccups and adversity. Like this morning, I got 3-4 different clients that are like different issues with their policies, and carriers are canceling. Small potatoes, man, small potatoes. But like we run into adversity all day, man. And I don't know another person that have dealt with a ton of adversity and come on top, kind of like you, man. So I want to dig deep into that first, man. Okay. So I want to go back to. We'll go over to the business side, but first I want to go back to the athletic side, right? So Howard University, man, you do 4 years there. Obviously got a finance degree. You go over to the NFL, right? Like 6th round pick by Jacksonville Jaguars, man. Like tell me how you feel during this process, man. Like the NFL, they called your name. Like what's that feeling? What's that like, man?
You know, I was actually at my brother's house in Baltimore. I had my mom, my grandmother, my grandfather, my mom's parents, my dad were there. And it was a very stressful process. You know, they were like, oh, could be a 3rd rounder, maybe 4th. You may slip, but we'll see. So then, of course, the names keep going by. I remember getting a call from the Cowboys at the beginning of the 5th round that said, we love you, Marques. You're going to be a great player for us. We're going to draft you. Oh my God, like I'm going to be a Cowboy. This is amazing. You all have to pick this round. Like, no, we don't have to pick this round. We'll see you in the 6th round. Like, ooh. And then I got a call from Jack Del Rio, who was the Jaguars rookie head coach. Jack's first year as a head coach in the National Football League was my first year in the NFL. When Jack called me and said, Marcus, who's been calling? I said, well, I heard from the Cowboys coach, heard from the Bengals coach. He said, that's enough. Tell them to all go away. We're picking you with the next pick. See you in Jacksonville. Be ready to come to work. And when I saw my name go across ESPN, I was like, oh my gosh, it is for real. It's not just talk. It's not just hearsay. But now here I am. I am an NFL athlete that has been drafted out of the Howard University.
Dude, that's like 0.001% of the world would say that, right? I mean, that feeling of seeing your name on there, man, and Jack Del Rio calling you, and man, it's got to be surreal. One of the best moments of your life, maybe.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
Yeah.
being a dad is one of the best moments of my life, or probably the best moment of my life, becoming a
Oh, man.
father. But that's right up there, man. Like it's in the top
Yeah.
five for sure. I mean, being drafted into the National Football League is something that so many young athletes dream of and they really want to happen, right? But the question I ask young athletes, what's your system? What's your system to
Mm,
get there, right?
mm,
The emotion side is the
mm,
dream. Like you see it, you want it. Like that's great. Yay, my heart's all in it. Well, that's great. That's the dream. On the mind or logical side, what systems are you going to put into place? The work ethic, the gym, the film room, practicing on the field, going and working long hours, OTAs if you're preparing, spring practice in college, like all these things are the system. If something in the system is broken, it reduces your chance of getting to the NFL. It's like if you go to a college as a five-star recruit, but you don't put the work in, you don't go to the gym, you don't continue what you did in high school, the system gets broken. And then what happens? The chance of you getting drafted gets less and less. Just like in life, you have a dream to get somewhere, but your system is not functioning, it gets less likely to happen.
that's awesome. So get over to Jacksonville, man, right? And you got over to Jacksonville, man, and like just making it is like an amazing, amazing, amazing thing you can do. Now the real work starts, right? Like, I mean, talk about like you obviously are like, okay, I'm excited and all that, but like you probably are thinking, oh crap, like let's go. Like,
Bruh, what I'm thinking is that I'm no longer in college anymore, and the guys on the D line were absolutely humongous. Like I would see a couple of decent sized guys at playing in college, but none of them were as big
mm,
and fast
fast.
combined as I saw with John Henderson from Tennessee, was a Jaguars first round draft pick D
Hmm.
tackle.
Hmm.
Marcus Stroud, guys like Hugh Douglas, guys
Hmm.
like Aiken Iodele, Tony Brackens. Like it
Hmm.
was absolutely, I was like, wow. And
Hmm.
then on the offensive side of the ball, right, we had some great linemen like
Hmm.
Maurice Williams
Hmm.
and Mike Pearson and
Hmm.
Brad Meester, Chris Naoli, my boy Vince, man. I could go down the list, right? So
Hmm.
I was like, wow, like I'm now here, but now it's time to really go to work because these guys on the defense side of the ball, they see me as competition, or if it's in
Hmm.
their heart, an enemy. And
Hmm.
then on the offensive side of the ball, it's the same thing potentially, right? And hopefully
Hmm.
more competition, not an enemy, but still, that's the emotion of the game. And so what I had to do is I had to logically say, okay, well, I got to compete, right?
Hmm.
I got to compete every single day. Just like you in the insurance business, you have to compete every
Hmm.
single day. Nobody's gonna hand you anything. If somebody hands you something, you shouldn't want it anyway.
Yeah.
So in reality, you gotta keep pushing. You gotta keep going. You gotta keep doing the things that you know that you probably don't want to do, but you gotta get them done. Like me going to the gym, like woke up this morning 4:30, sent a couple texts out, got some stuff done on emails, right,
Hmm.
man? What happens? Boom. I end up what? Going to the gym, leave at like 5, work out to about 6:15, come home, boom, get my daughter ready for school. off to the races. Could
Mm,
I have slept in and not worked out? Of course I could have, but I
mhm,
don't know what that is. I don't know how to not be disciplined. It's like you in your insurance business, it's the same thing,
mm,
right? You all have skills you've learned from Cyrus. He's going to provide you the tools, the software, all the things that you need, the skills, right? He can provide you, right? Willpower, again, not want power,
mhm.
willpower has to come from you within. That's the emotion. You have to have that burning desire that you know your willpower is greater than your skills. When you figure that out, that's when things get great. That's when things get jamming in your business.
Love that, man. Love that. Um, I wanna ask you really quick about who some of the people maybe that you looked up to. Obviously, your brother, Jonathan Ogden, was obviously older than you, maybe 7 or 8 years. Obviously, he was doing amazing things. Did you have was that maybe one of the mentors? Because I know in the insurance world, man, like I look up to guys that you know, like Chris Paradiso and Mike Stromso and Ryan Hanley, like some of these guys, man, that are way ahead of me, right? Like 15, 20 years, 10 years ahead of me, man, have done amazing things. And those are the people that I look up to because I'm one of those guys, man. I'm always trying to catch the best version of myself. And so that's me always trying to catch Stromso and Paradiso. And I'll never catch them. But that's the beauty of this world, man, is I'm always chasing to become better. Did you have some mentors? Was your brother one of your mentors as you were going in there?
Yeah, my brother was fantastic. He was a great mentor, taught me so much about the game, how to be a professional, how to play it, how to use my body, the angles, the dimensions, all those things. So, without a doubt, my older brother, Jonathan Ogden, was my teacher, my mentor, my guide, my lighthouse while playing in the National Football League. I could
How
call him at
important is
any
that?
time. Oh, it's
How,
everything.
how,
Oh,
okay.
it's everything. Because if you don't get somebody that can mentor you, you can fall trap to a lot of things. Women, your own ego, arrogance, not doing what you're supposed to be doing, acting like a college athlete when you're now a professional athlete.
Hmm.
It is
Hmm.
different. Even though NIL is getting you paid in college, it's not the same because
Hmm.
you're making money off your back with NIL. In the NFL, you're making money from that owner who's paying you a salary as part of a whole team. It's not you getting money because of your name, image, and likeness. You're getting money because you've earned the right to
Hmm.
be on that football field, on that football team.
100%, man. I encourage people all the time, man, because a lot of people coming into the industry now or have been in it for 2 or 3 years, they've kind of hit a stagnant, like, they're just kind of chilling right now because the market is tough. It's like if you're not chasing somebody, have a mentor that you can reach out to, say, hey, man, I'm just having a hard day today, man. They can kind of push you a little bit to take on to the next of some things that you could do. Or sometimes, man, just go home, man. Go take a day off. A lot of times people just don't realize that I would rather work 4 or 5 productive hours than 8 hours of just being in the office. Like you gotta find ways to be productive. And the greats, man, the great ones, man, they know how to take full advantage of the hours that they are working because time is the most valuable thing in the world.
Time is everything. As Warren Buffett says, no matter how much money I make, I can never buy back time. Time is the only item that we all pay the same retail price for. Whether it's Cyrus or Marcus or Bill Gates or Warren Buffett or Jeff Bezos, it doesn't matter. We're
Mhm.
all paying the same retail price for time. Now, how much we earn, our
Mm,
potential earning with that
mhm,
time is all different, but
mhm,
we all pay the same price because it's just going to keep going. It doesn't care your age, your gender, your race, your ethnicity, cares about none of that. It's just going to keep moving no matter what. So again, like Cyrus said, find ways. What you really need to do, I'm reading this book right now, Choose Your Enemy by Patrick Bet-David. And he
mhm,
talks about you need to understand the following. You need to have an enemy that you look at from the emotion perspective, or if you're in business, have people you compete against logically. If you don't have competition, if you don't push yourself, if you don't drive yourself, if the only thing driving you is money At some point, you'll burn out. In my construction company, I chased money, money, money. And then I got to my height over 20 million. And then less than 90 days later, I'm out of business. I'm gone because everything logical that kept the business running, like systems, like a plan, like people, like eventually money, was all gone. It was all
Mm.
gone. So again, if you're not doing it because you have this and this emotion and logic, at some point you will burn out. It's not a question of if, it's a question of when.
Yeah, man, that's so important, man. So, I want to go to some adversity, man. I want to go to her. Like, how do you come out of it strong? And you've done this many times, right? Like, obviously throughout your NFL career, I'm sure you've had some adversity, right? Like, you maybe got cut, or you didn't have a good day, or you just got banged up or hurt and stuff. And you're like, man, and what am I doing, right? Like, so when people have self-doubt, right? Like, talk about your career first, and then we'll go to the business right after that. When you were running into those things, or did you ever get cut from a team?
Oh yes, of
So
course.
tell me,
Yes, I got
talk to
cut.
me about that,
Yeah,
man. What did
yo,
that do to you?
so I ended up with Jacksonville. I got traded to Baltimore, which was great, and I wanted to be there. But I wish I had never asked to be traded to Baltimore because I ended up not handling the situation with my offensive line coach in the right way. But
Mm,
when the Ravens, I was there. My O line coach, who was awesome, wanted the offensive coordinator job. They didn't give it to him. It went to Jim Fossil. So
mm,
when that happened, right, when Fossil took the job, my O line coach resigned. We had
mm,
a new line coach come in, and he and I did not. I thought we were doing great, but he did not see eye to eye with my brother. And you weren't going to cut Jonathan Ogden. You weren't going to lose your job. So I ended up getting released and cut because of things that, I mean, I felt I played really, really well,
uh-huh,
but that's the name of the game. Like
uh-huh.
it's football, it's a business. So that hurt. Then from there, it went to Buffalo, and Buffalo was phenomenal. I was playing, things were going great, it was awesome. Same thing happened again. My head coach gets fired. All the coaches get let go. They bring in new coaches, new regime, right? I'm there for a little while, then I get cut because of the new regime. And that sent me out. Then I went to Tennessee, played for the Titans. Things were going great there. Hurt my back, got a settlement after my almost 6.5 year career. Boom, I'm out.
Yeah.
I'm done. So, yeah, man, being cut was hard, but the hardest part was when you get cut, you have nobody to really go and talk to. Your agent will probably call you and start trying to work on some new teams for you. But you know as well as I do, right, Cyrus? That takes time. So for
Mhm,
that 24, 48, sometimes it could be a lifetime after that,
mhm,
you're stuck with that reality that you weren't good enough, either
mm,
from a perspective of you didn't play well enough, or you got hurt, or something happened, and you have to live with that. And
mm,
that's where a lot of guys struggle. It's like,
mhm,
oh, what do I do next? What happened? Why? And I went through the same thing. After I got my career was over, not only was my football career over, I lost my dad about a year before that unexpectedly. He was
mhm,
only 57. So I retired in 2008. Our dad died in 2006.
mhm. What so dude, I'm sorry to hear that. I'm curious, like, what do people do? What do people should do? What did you do in those 24 to 48 hours? Because we run into that in the insurance industry, owning a business, like stuff happens to you. It's like, man, life is not fair. Why is this happening to me? What should people do when they have a bad day at the office, can't write any business? What should they do? What did you
That's a
do?
that's a great question. What they should do, right, Cyrus, is lean into their attributes over their skills. Lean into what makes you you at your core.
Mm,
Lean into discipline, grit, tenacity, adaptability.
mm,
Realize that a bad day doesn't have to become a bad 2 days or a bad week. But if you can't adapt, if you don't have that fierce competitive drive, then what happens? One bad day becomes two,
Mm.
becomes three, it carries on and on. And then you have to climb yourself out of a hole. This is why I tell people all the time, when you lean into your attributes, who you are on the inside, then what you do externally with your skill sets on the outside, you'll keep going and find ways to adjust and
Mm.
find ways to make movement and pivot. And that's the key. So I tell everybody, understand this. You must lean into who you are, your willpower or aka attributes over your external or your outside skill sets.
Yeah. On the business side of things, man, we tell our team all the time, what doesn't stop is your effort and attitude and the activity that you do on a daily basis, right? If you're in the sales industry, man, like the only thing you can control is activity. Like if you did, like for us, it's 25 calls, text, emails, because we just need to talk to people for us to be able to write business for our sales team. And me including, man, I reach out to 15 referral partners on a daily basis. I run this from Ryan Serhant. And I just do that daily. And even on a bad day, if I just do that part of it, right, to move the needle, I did my activity. I don't feel like a failure, even if didn't write anything, had a good day, had a tough day. But if I did the activity, I tell our team the same thing. If you just 25 CTEs, call text teams, man, if you just do the activity and you don't write anything on the board for a whole week, I will never be mad at you because you give 100% of what you had. Now, luck didn't go with you. Some people didn't close. That's the name of the game.
You know what, brother? You're talking about the dream that you have to be the best, which is the emotion. But
Mm,
what's great, Cyrus, about you, you're implementing on the logic side the systems to
mm,
get where you want to go. If your dream has systems, it could become a reality.
mm,
Right? Just like you have a great mission of wanting to help people get the best deal for themselves and their family or their property, whatever it may be. Awesome, right?
mm,
But again, you also have behind the mission a plan. Okay, we're going to plan this. Okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to do this. That's the overall plan, right? One of my great quotes that I live by: your plan needs a plan,
mm.
right? So it's all about putting in the consistent effort every single day to move the needle forward every single day. If you do that, it will always be in your favor. But you have to implement the systems. You have to create the plan to have that mission and or dream become a reality. Without systems, without planning, right, Cyrus? A dream, a thought, right? Whatever you want to happen, right? A mission will never ever come to fruition.
100%. No, I love that, man. So got to the NFL career, man. Obviously maybe you wanted to be there for another 10 years or whatever. That's not how life goes sometimes. It is what it is. You're on to the next thing, man. You get into the construction industry, man. You opened up a business. Things are going really well. I'm curious, man. You built the business to a massive, right? Massive business. Pretty short amount of time. What did it take, man? What are two or three things that made you successful running the business?
So, what made me successful was I leaned into my attributes over my skills,
Mm,
right? I was really good at moving horizons. I was really good at a challenge came about. Instead of getting all, what am I going to do and seeing a big picture, I would break down the challenges into smaller action steps that I could do and implement. By
mm,
doing that, I would reduce my stress and I would increase and keep momentum going. I excelled at that. And I also excelled at embracing dynamic subordination, which means, right, Cyrus, I would allow people that had more knowledge than me to do their job. And I would remove my ego. And as a result of doing those three things, went from a starting out company in 2008 to over a $20 million company at the end of 2011, the
mm.
beginning of 2012.
That's massive. That's massive. So you're empowering other people. You had a leadership team. You didn't have to, just like agency owners, man. If you're an agency owner, high producer, maybe running and managing a team, like guys, you cannot do everything that the producers are doing. You can't hold their hands. You got to empower them and let them make mistakes, man. Like they're gonna make mistakes. And listen, if they make that mistake, man, they will learn to not make that mistake again. But you got to let them burn a little bit for them to understand. But empowering a team, man, that's one of the only reasons we've been successful, man. I can't do it all. Not
No,
possible.
the human mind can do a lot of things, but it can't do everything. And the minute you try to do everything by yourself or for yourself, or you stop listening to your team and try to do everything on your own, you're going to turn into the Marcus of 2012.
Mm,
And that's why I lost everything, Cyrus. I became ego driven. I stopped listening, and I really did not do a good job when challenges came about of breaking them down and attacking them in small steps. As a result of that, at the end of 2012 and the beginning of 2013, I lost everything. And I had to file Chapter 7 bankruptcy. I had to leave Baltimore and move down to Raleigh, North Carolina with only a couple $100 to my name. That's it. My home foreclosed on. Both cars repossessed in the same day, right? I had 177 creditors on my docket, Cyrus, when I ended up filing, and it took me almost 6 months to pay a $3,300 fee to have my bankruptcy process started and filed to protect myself from over $5.5 million of debt. But I was so broke, I was so destitute, I was so having no money. It took me that long to scrape together that by paying $4 here, then four here, maybe two here. It took me almost 6 months to get my bankruptcy attorney paid to file my Chapter 7 complete bankruptcy. And when I did, Cyrus, 177 creditors on my docket. I will never, ever forget that number as long as I live.
and talk to me about that, man. There's a lot of times we make mistakes. You made some mistakes, and you're going to own up to it. You're not going to say you did everything right, and you just did that. And a lot of times, as agency owners, man, some young people come in, man, or even old people, they come in, they have all this success within 4 or 5 years. They think they're on top of the world. They get away from the fundamentals of running a business, of what's important. What are you really doing? What's your why? Like, why are you doing what you're doing, right? So, talk to me about that, man. Like, what did that teach you, man? What did that lesson teach you in life?
The
Because it's who
lesson
you are. This is the reason I'm getting this version of Marcus today is because of that. And I can almost promise you that.
Because the lesson I learned is the following: no matter how much success or fulfillment you think you have in your life, if you don't treat people around you correctly, if you don't stay humble, if you don't stay hungry, and you don't keep doing what got you there, the
Mm,
fundamentals, the consistency, and if you don't keep showing up and showing out every single day, at some point, your number's going to get called and you're going to end up losing because you're just basically bluffing the entire time. It's like playing poker. You're going out there with a 2-7, you're all in, and you're like, man, is this guy's gonna call me? And life is holding pocket aces. I call because you're bluffing, because you're
mm,
not doing what you need to do. And life is always gonna have your number. Always. If you don't do the everyday things that got you to where you are. One of my favorite quotes by Regina King, powerful actress and movie director: the comfort zone is where dreams go to die.
mm.
And I love that word dream because it's an emotion that we have to think about what we want. But if you stay in the comfort zone, that emotion block of dream or dreams will die. Because all you're doing is you're basically going through life with no purpose, no direction, and no assertiveness.
Man, I love that, man. I love that. Now talk to me about that. Talk to me about the the life after 2012 start of 2013, man. Like it's like a switch. When did that switch for people that are struggling right now, man, that are maybe Marcus of 2012, late 2012, start of 2013? What happened? What light went off? What were you thinking to get yourself out of that ditch and become who you are today?
So I ended up losing everything, moving to Raleigh, having to start completely over from scratch. And what happened is I was fired from two jobs in the same week. And the only job I could get was a custodian working in downtown Raleigh for $8.25 an hour. And I ended up working that job, doing what I needed to do, doing what I had to do, but unfortunately, I still didn't take ownership of my failures in business. I blamed everybody else. Finally, I had my rock bottom moment as a custodian when somebody's trash, rotten, nasty meat, I call it my spoiled milk moment, happened. And when that happened, right, Cyrus?
Yeah.
That's when the light turned on. Like, wow, Marcus, you put yourself on this curb, nobody else. And once I recognized that and I owned that, I was the one who was going to have to get myself off the curb. And I did. And I said, well, what can I do? Well, I want to start speaking. I want to start helping people. Started keynote speaking in September 2013. But you talked about, right, Cyrus? No fundamentals, no knowledge, no systems, no real plan. I had this big dream, this big mission. I want to make all this money. I had this huge vision, but no systems, no plan, no structure. I got zero paid speaking jobs for the first 2.5 years. Finally got my first paid job April 2016. Got my second paid job in 2017. 2018, I got coached and mentored by people like Mel Robbins, who's a world-renowned speaker. Went to NAPSA, National Athletic Professional Success Academy. That was at Penn State. I learned systems. I created a plan. I learned how to bring the right people in, how to use the money that I had, which wasn't much, but what I
Mhm.
had. I set up a business. And since then, in the last now going on what, 7 years, since then, we've worked for over 70 Fortune 500 clients as a speaker, predominantly in the insurance and finance space. Because I have a background in insurance from being in construction, using it all the time for my company, and finance. I have a finance degree, so I understand numbers and how that works. So again, that's what happened. I combined emotion and logic built on the foundation of a strong mindset. And ever since then, my friend, we've been pushing forward and going full steam ahead.
Man, I love that, man. I love success stories for people that maybe weren't given a chance or stuff happened or people that made mistakes and then man I love to see you succeeding, man. Obviously having all these jobs now and all these companies are coming at you, man, to get you to speak, to tell your story. I mean, it's such a great story, man. Congratulations. But I think what you did, man, from what I heard, man, is you really found your why. Like, why are you doing what you're doing? Like the construction thing was just to maybe make money, but the speaking thing was impact. That became your why. Like your story can impact so many people, get somebody out of the ditch. And there's so many people in the ditch lately, man. I think that's really, really, really inspiring, man. And I applaud you for that.
Well, I appreciate it, man. Again, you're 100% right, my friend. I did the construction business just to make money. And that's why I burned out. With speaking, I made no money for 2.5 years, struggled to really build a business for years, but I kept going. And now here we are speaking. I understand the business. We're building systems with the right setup, with the right people. And that's what it's all about.
Dude, I love that, man. I love that. And think about it, guys. If you're in the insurance industry, sales industry in general, guys, you're going to run into blocks. You're going to run into stuff like that, right? Like, how do you figure out, how do you impact people on the other side, man? We literally insure the largest investment for most Americans, which is their home, right? you're insuring it. You have an obligation to do the right thing. And if you look at it that way, that you're impacting this person that you're insuring their car insurance and home insurance, you have a pretty big job, pretty important role. Don't think of it as a transaction just to make money. The minute you figure out how it impacts them on the other side, how you can make somebody's day by insuring their home and car and treating them the right way, answering the phone, and man, if you can find what's your why, how do you impact people, man, this industry will do you good for so long. But if you're just doing it for money, so a salesperson, service person, just to pay the bills, it's going to be a long, tedious career, man. And that's no fun, man. You got to find your why within of why you're doing it.
Absolutely. If you don't have a why, then again, you will end up burning out because how you're going to do something is not enough. People need to know why you're doing it in order to actually make it become part of what you need to do.
Dude, I love that, man. And remember, Mark, dude, the speaking thing didn't come to Marcus because he was an ex NFL player or he was this or that. Like, dude, that dude didn't go went from 2013 all the way to 2017 doing custodial work to build his empire, right? Because he had a vision, he had a why. Like he was like, I know this is what I want to do. And a lot of people just expect today to where like, I'm going to go on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram and I'm going to be this person just because my last name is Ogden. And that's not how it works anymore, man. You got to put the work in. Same thing in the insurance and the sales world and your agencies right now, man. You got to put the work in. You got to have systems and processes and automation because you don't want to be you don't want to be the Marcus from 2012, man. You want to be the Marcus of 2024.
Amen. And so again, you want to be the Marcus that is humble, that's appreciative, and is always looking to serve others. When you serve others, then you're living and leading and going about life in the best way possible. And if you're in the insurance business, I'm going to tell you right now, focus on these three things to really get yourself going. Number one is pattern recognition. When you're talking to people, pay attention to what they're saying. People you're speaking to want to be heard. So listen with intention. Okay, number two is scenario planning. Have a plan A, how to approach somebody. It's going well. How do you keep it going well? Plan B, it's not going so well. How do you turn around? Plan C, yikes. But you can turn around with strong pattern recognition, picking up on what people say. And number three, competitive market analysis. What makes you better than the people they've been talking to that do the same thing? What is your unique value proposition that stands out, that allows you to say, hire me because of this? When they hear that thing, they're like, you know what? I got to hire you because you are that much different than everybody else selling exactly what you sell.
Dude, I was trying to get people to, in this podcast, we say, hey, listen, you're going to get one thing out of this podcast most of the times. And you probably shouldn't try to get 4 or 5 things out of every podcast because a lot of times it's just one thing that you'll implement. So I'm glad you said the mic drop portion of it right at the end so people can listen through the whole thing and then come to the bottom of it at the end. Those 3 things, man, I don't know what else to say other than you just should just drop the mic, Marcus.
Well, thanks for having me, brother. I'm
But
excited to speak for you guys later this year and going to next year and build a great relationship. And like I said, man, you're doing it. If you want to do like what Cyrus is doing, again, you heard what Cyrus said. He's doing the same things that got him to where he is. He's not at the top of the mountain saying, "Oh, let's go ahead and take my coat off." And now that's what Marcus Ogden in 2012. I'm at the top now. Let me just take my coat off. Let me just have a seat on the couch. Let me just take a little bit of a rest and things what happened. Boom, it imploded. You heard Cyrus say it. Keep the same habits, the same consistency that got you to where you are.
lead by example, man. To the day, man. If I let my team do 25 call text emails, I have to do 15. And that's just my contacts are to different people, to maybe wealthier people, to referral partners that can send me. But it's the same concept, man, because you lead by example. And if you're sitting in your room and watching something versus you letting other people work, that's not a good example, man. So you got to figure you got to lead by example. So I want to give you the floor real quick, Marcus, because like you said, um, you want obviously agency owners, carrier partners that are listening to it, man, Nationwide, Safeco, Travelers, a lot of those guys listen to this podcast, man. Where can they find you if they want you to come? Dude, I go to a lot of big carrier places and I want them to bring you on so you can speak because I know the people that they bring on a lot of times, dude, you're far above a lot of those people, and I want you to tell them where can they find you, man? How can they reach out to you so you can talk to more people and share your story?
So if they want to find me, you can email me at Marcus, Marquess, at Marques Ogden, OGDEN.com. Marcus at MarcusOgden.com. Check out our website, www.marcusogden.com. And also you can go to our app. We have the Marques Ogden app. Go in your app store on your phone, type in Marques Ogden. It's a free app. Boom. Website access, podcast, exclusive content, you name it. So again, you can send me an email, Marcus at MarcusOgden.com, our website, www.marcusogden.com, or our app on your Apple or your Android phone, Marques Ogden. In your app store, connect with us right away.
Last question, my man, before we go. We always talk about one thing, right? If you had to pick one thing on the personal side and the professional side that makes you win the day, I'm a big proponent of winning the day. There's certain things I do on a daily basis that if I don't do, I put my head on the pillow, man. I'm like, dang, I should have done better. But here's the thing. I don't miss it 2 days in a row, man. I can have one bad day. I don't let it come to 2 days. I don't usually let that happen. What is one thing that you would say on the personal side that you do on a daily basis that potentially could result into winning your day?
The personal side is going to the gym on my gym days.
Love that.
Never miss it. 5:30 in the morning at the latest. I'm either at the gym in my development in my community, or I'm on the way to the gym where I go to about a half hour away. It doesn't matter. It doesn't fail. Without that discipline, then I lose the competitive edge to be my best and to give clients my best. And that's why when doing that every day, I'm in a position to win the day.
What about a business side?
On the
Anything?
business side, listening to an audiobook
Ooh,
for at least half an hour every single day. Without it, then my content and who I am as an individual in my career, I would not be as good to help people overcome challenges in their life.
dude, I love that. We've been reading a book a month for the last 4.5 years at the office, where the book never finished by David Goggins. My
Yep.
goodness, man. Love, 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 love David Goggins. Marcus, man, this was amazing. One of my favorite podcasts, my brother. This won't be the last time we're talking. You're going to come to our agency for our end of the year meetings. I encourage all agency owners to reach out to him, man, to have him talk to your team, get him ready to go. Marcus, I appreciate you, man. Thanks for being on, and this won't be the last time.
Thanks, Brian. Thanks for having me on, big dog.
All right, brother.